Hi, my name is Father Ross Romero, originally from New Orleans, and I teach philosophy here at Creighton. What I'd like to talk about today is an experience I had when I was a novice. A novice is the very beginning of Jesuit formation, and so this was about 11 years ago for me. And the reason I want to talk about it is because many people wonder about why a Jesuit would take vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And for me, a lot of those vows go together. And when I was a novice, part of our desire was to discern whether taking those vows were what we should do, what God wanted us to do. And for Jesuits, we try to engage the world and prayer together. We try to be contemplatives in action. So one day during the novitiate, I was assigned to go to Belize City, and I was teaching at the high school there. But one of the jobs I had was to supervise the students, the high school students who were doing service projects. And one service project that they had was visiting children in the hospital. So one evening I went over to the hospital to see how the high school students were doing there. And when I was there in the hospital, I met a 4th grade boy who was in a hospital bed and had broken his arm. And as we got to talking, a lot of the students had to go. And so I was left there alone with this boy for over an hour. And in that time, I got to know him a bit more. And I brought out some pencils and paper and began to work with him on his letters and numbers. And throughout that time, I became aware of the fact that I was really there with him at a time when no one else could be there. I reflected later on that if I'd been married, I would have needed to hurry home and care for my own children. And I reflected that even as a Jesuit, even though the community was eating, the community would allow me to be free to care for this man, for this little boy here. And I think to me that kind of encapsulates what the vow of chastity is about. And it allows us to be free to be with those who have no one to care for them. It allows us to open up a spot in our own hearts, in our own lives, where we make space to be vulnerable, where we too are impoverished, where we too are with those who don't have their own biological family. And so I considered that a great grace that the Lord had given me during my novitiate time, and was able to pray about that quite a bit in my retreat, and to some days go back to that boy and remember that it is for the ones like this that we have the kingdom of God.